In 1983, Liverpool foursome Echo and the Bunnymen released their third album, Porcupine, and from that release, the track Higher Hell. Very much that kind of like mood rock setup with just atmospheric, kind of shapeless sounds kind of emanating from the lean selection of instruments we have.
Smack in the middle of today, got to learn new words, merely got to simply say, I think we all misheard. Cracked in the middle of me, have to find my heart.
Is he singing kind of like through his throat, kind of like adenoidal, like post-punk type singing? He kind of has that pained voice that'll become more apparent as we go along.
Smiling equates with happy, but I know they're miles apart. Just like my lower heaven, you know so well, my higher hell.
Kind of got like an echoey bass sound, just kind of droning through the whole piece. Like there's this constant.
When confronted by continuing the course, will you open up? Or do I have to force?
I wonder if it's like always been the vocals that may have stopped some of this music from reaching a mainstream audience in the United States, because it just wasn't really like after hard rock, like kind of let the cat out of the bag on like masculine expression. Like when this newer generation of English bands came on that were often singing kind of like from up here, kind of like up here a lot, using less of their lungs, I guess. That it just wasn't viewed as masculine by like American, particularly like American male listeners. Why they were resistant to the newer, like post '77 sounds from the UK. That's always been just kind of like one of the theories that I've had.
The words right out of your stubborn mouth, stunted of course, guilty in their growth, just like my lower heaven, you know so well, my higher hell.
Something about just the simple two-chord descent from D minor to C and the kind of notes that he's hitting on them as he sings the chorus. It gives this song like a definite earworm that stands out amongst the album's high points. Let's catch up with the lyrics here. Smack in the middle of today, got to learn new words, merely got to simply say, I think we all misheard, cracked in the middle of me, have to find my heart, smiling equates with happy, but I know they're miles apart. Huh. Just like my lower heaven, you know so well my higher hell. This seems to be kind of like about emotional self-defeat. When confronted by continuing the course, you will open up, or do I have to force the words right out of your stubborn mouth, stunted of course, guilty in their growth, just like my lower heaven, you know so well my higher hell. Huh. It's the narrator seems to be rather depressed. Crashed through the floor today, I couldn't find my legs. Suppose you live and learn it again and again. Smack in the middle of today, got to find new words, merely got to simply say, I think we all misheard. Just like my lower heaven, you know so well my higher hell. When confronted by continuing the course, you will open up, or do I have to? Some of these lines kind of seem like reflexive, like statements followed by negation. Yeah. That bass has just this really sustained, really kind of somnambulistic quality, kind of lending sort of a morose feel to the whole track. It's just like a really kind of deep and just covering the track to a large extent. Those guitars just kind of like cutting, kind of like shards, almost barely, almost like atonal. Like the drumming just kind of like the whole thing has got this kind of lurching quality. It's quite obvious what the main influence on all this is. Another band from Manchester who established themselves slightly before these guys did. Those like those like doubled up or tripled up like rolls that occur like at the end of each figure of eight or so. That seems to be kind of something that was borrowed from that other band. I hear it a lot in these bands, like post-punk bands. It's back in the middle of today. Got to find new words. Merely got to simply say. I almost wonder if it's like a cod tribal lick or something that some of these bands were aiming for in that particular, rhythmically anyway. All miss her, just like my lower hell. You know so well my higher hell. Yeah, it seems to be coming from the throat. Just like that drumming's getting a little bit more persistent and kind of covering things. Kind of a slight like industrial quality to it. Drummer Peter de Freitas from Spain. I was gonna say, I thought he was from I thought he was an Argentine-born musician, but no. I guess Port of Spain. Oh, Trinidad Tobago. In Port of Spain, Trinidad Tobago. Yeah, who died tragically at age 27 in a motorcycle accident. Sometimes cited as this band's best musician, technically. He's had his moments in the band. The single that preceded this album's release, The Back of Love, He was really killing it on that one, but that one had an arrangement that called for some really active drumming. Oftentimes, though, his virtuosity is somewhat kind of like, I guess, kind of squandered in the arrangements because Echo and the Bunnymen tended to focus more on this kind of morose plotting, like dark atmospherics, like drawn quite heavily from Unknown Pleasures. Uh, but this album, nonetheless, has more variety than the ones that preceded it because they were downplaying that influence on certain tracks and calling in more of like a quirky art rock influence, harkening back to like the mid 70s, like heck, elements of like Gentle Giant and Godly and Cream uh, creep up on certain numbers. Well, like The Back of Love comes to mind, although that wasn't actually part of this album. That was like no, no, I'm thinking Never Stop is the track I'm thinking of. Yeah. With all those little tinkly percussive elements going on. Or like The Cutter, which has Shankar guesting on it. Or there's like another song on here that has some xylophone. Yeah, they were getting kind of quirky art rock around the same time that the band most often grouped in the same category with them. The Cure were like on like Japanese Whispers, that period, where yeah, both bands kind of benefited from moving away slightly from that from the whole cloak of unknown pleasures, and letting the kind of inner art rock sensibilities kind of rise to the fore. It has me thinking that both of them had been kind of like that both Ian McCulloch and Robert Smith had been suppressing their art rock quirky tendencies for like the first few years of the 1980s and finally let them resurface during 1983. Or here's the other theory: someone approached both of those men with copies of Split Ends' Mental Notes and Dysrhythmia and said, "Hey, hey Robert, or hey Ian, your hairdo reminds me of Tim Finn, circa 1976. Go listen to these albums." And some like art rock tendencies, some like quirky, percussive, twitchy, you know, like ideas like took hold, and it came out in like the newer music circa 1983 of The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen. Getting really layered here. Like all of a sudden, like there's like these overdubs and like different kind of like vocal elements, kind of in different parts of the different channels and such. Do I have to force right out? Yeah. Ian McCulloch's doing several different vocal things. He's like kind of like almost like half speaking, singing, kind of like doing this like this like low volume soliloquy, like at half the speed in like this one channel, while continuing to just carry the chorus out to the fade out here, like over here. And on your stubborn mouth stands head of course, guilty in the growth, guilty in the growth, guilty in your growth, guilty in... Yeah, getting more like pained and higher pitched as the song plays out, and he starts like ad-libbing the chorus lines, like yeah, just like my love on, you know so well, yeah. Definitely kind of a style of singing that was just going to have a hard time finding. I don't know. There was kind of like a disconnect between the United Kingdom and the U.S. during that time, where in the United Kingdom, where this music had like mainstream commercial viability, and in the U.S. where it just couldn't quite get to the surface because there was kind of like this knee jerk tendency to label anything geared towards like young men that was anything less than just like balls to the walls, like yeah, feeling kind of dirty, feeling kind of mean, like just like mauling it, like from the singing from the lungs with that gritty, anything that anything that was just anything less macho than that was instantly labeled, well, a bunch of words that I am not going to say on here. Anyway, I chose that song because it's kind of a highlight that a lot of people haven't heard. Uh, and so, relatively speaking, by their kind of cult level of renown anyway, it wasn't really a hit for them. Here's another song that's kind of like a deep cut for, relatively speaking, In Bluer Skies. Already, I think the song has some like some instrumental tones that are just slightly more interesting than the last track.
What needs must be.
I was pointing out that like kind of buzzing sound that I was hearing.
I realize I'm walking out from blackened sky. You say belief is in our eyes. How can I believe in blind lies? I'm counting on moving on. Keep me from moving apart.
His vocals are pretty low in the mix here. I could barely hear them. Let's see. Let's catch up with the words to this one. What needs must be, I realized. I'm walking out from blackened skies. Huh, I wonder how Ian McCulloch is rated as a lyricist among people who've really delved into his words and compared them to other lyricists that mine a similar territory. I'm just be curious. I defer that judgment to some other to people who meet the criteria I just laid out. You say belief is in our eyes, but how can I believe in blind eye? You say now that's kind of an interesting stanza right there. You say belief is in our eyes, but how can I believe in blind eye? Yeah, I like that one. Finally, he's starting to kind of win me over here. Um, I'm counting on your heavy heart. Could it keep me from falling apart?
Have we been born to follow?
I think it seems like D minor is a favorite tonality of Ian McCulloch.
Tied to a bitter rain.
It dominated the last track we heard, and it's dominating this one.
Or will we begin to grow? Bound by the simple chain.
And I think it also it's also quite prominent. I think in the Cutter, in the Back of Love, and in quite a lot of their songs.
Will we evolve tonight? Sparkle of brittle stars. Can we dissolve tonight?
Here those sustains of his, the way he stretches out those vowels and that kind of adenoidal, that like up here kind of pained Englishman singing.
Held by your hungry arms, I'm counting on your heavy heart. Will it keep me from falling apart?
Song has got some chorus. It's a chorus. It's really full. You've got those chiming sounds, kind of echoing. It wouldn't be the band if you didn't have some kind of like echoing sound and a bit of like a jangliness here and there, some chiming. Yeah, I think I'm hearing chimes. The ocean sounds are a really good effect here.
What needs to be, you'll realize.
Let's catch up with the lyrics. I'm wondering how the ocean, if that ties in here with. Have we been born to follow, tied to a bitter rain, or will we begin to grow, bound by this simple chain? Will we evolve tonight, sparkle like brittle stars? Can we dissolve tonight, held by your hungry arms? I'm counting on your heavy heart. Could it keep me from falling apart? I would be ready, ready to go. Was your heart heavy, heavy with sorrow? Had you been heavy, we could have both been grown. Now your heart's heavy, heavy with sorrow. I'm counting on your heavy heart. Same chorus. Gonna get me. What needs have been, you'll realize. I've found myself in bluer skies. I know belief is in your eyes. We can't believe in blind light. I think that second line up here, you say belief is in our eyes, but how can I believe in blind eyes, is the couplet I'm going to be taking away from this.
I found myself in bluer sky. I know belief is in your eyes. Can't believe.
A couple of years ago, when I still had long hair and I could flip it under and like press it down for like faux bangs, faux like long or like one eye bangs, even, it was so long. I just kind of wish I had now. I'd be like shaking those like one eye like out, like, you know, like like a lot of the like goth crowd would do back during this era, constant that kind of dancing where you're like you're like shaking your hair out of your eyes and then shaking it back over like. That sound, that that. What is that? keyboard, but they don't have a credit in any of the. Wow, just taking it out to sea. Yeah, that was Echo and the Bunnymen with In Bluer Skies. And before that, Higher Hell, two deep cuts from their 1983 release, Porcupine. Beautiful cover. I tend to like most of their album covers from the time period. Even though it did take me, admittedly, a bit longer to really sink my teeth into the music oftentimes. Although this album, Higher Hell immediately clicked with me when I first bought the album like 24 years ago. And Ocean Rain caught on with me right away. Um, and the first two have taken their time to work in. I kind of thought that the band could have maybe used a keyboardist to fill out their sound more at times. But Crocodiles Heaven Up Here, those are each subjects for a whole nother installment sometime far off in the future after I've gone through thousands of other things I want to get to at least once before I start doing repeats. Anyway, that's why I'm uploading videos like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, for more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Echo and the Bunnymen, see the directory of albums by English E artists linked in the description below for red hot tracks and tasty purples from this album, the two before it, and the two after it. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about these two songs we just covered, the layers, the instrumentation, the rhythmic qualities, the tonal characteristics, the sounds, the lyrics, the vocal performance, and also if you strongly feel differently about certain kind of pointed observations I may have made. Yeah, I was somewhat critical at times, but also there are things that I like, and there were about this, and there were things I was slightly share your feelings on that. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.